Welcome to Business Wit's Better Business Results. My name is John Witt, and I'm your host. Today our guest is Dr. Keith O'Neill, and Keith is a psychologist along with a hypnotherapist. Keith, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, John, thanks. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
Well, you know, I've thought about having you on the show for a little while, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come spend some time with us and share your thoughts and ideas.
We've talked a bunch, I know, away from here and stuff, and I think we're on the same line as far as, you know, how to help people get where they want to be. Do it differently, but I think we're a good...
Just focus maybe in on different areas. But
exactly.
Okay, so let's start this off by asking or sharing a little bit about what it is that you do, and then why did you get into this profession?
Okay, well, I started out working parks and recreation. I coached, ran summer camps, worked with kids for many, many years, and the direction I thought I was going to be working parks and recreation, that sort of thing. When I was 26, I fell off a 45-foot cliff, and I had to learn to walk and talk and do everything all over again. I became a case study for a head trauma specialist. He got me involved in a program. I trained with a hypnotherapist, an MD, and a psychiatrist for 8 years. Became part of their unique program, kind of went from patient to student, and became an ardent student of the mind, the way the subconscious mind works and the effect that it has on our conscious thoughts and our conscious choices. And through that, all the important things really start in our heads. Our belief in ourselves, our work ethic, all of that stuff.
It's all between the ears.
It really is. It really starts from there. And so my first 2 degrees were in psychology and recreation and leisure administration. And then after I finished that program, I went on and finished my master's and PhD, and now I've been doing this for over 28 years.
And so this audience that we're dealing with here, business owners, executives, sales professionals, talk a little bit about the types of challenges that you deal with for that audience.
Well, a lot of people don't have success in business, or I shouldn't say have success, because I've always believed success is the effort you put into something, it's not the end result. So if you really focus on your process and do everything you need to do, which is what you teach, which is, you know, why they need somebody like you, and you're very good at what you do, is you give them those strategies and everything to move forward. However, if they have fear of failure, fear of success, unworthiness, you know, maybe negative programming from when they were young, it's going to cripple them and not allow.
Get in the way.
Exactly, and it's not going to allow them to maximize your program and to really get where they want to be. And those are the people that will usually come to me, people that are struggling emotionally, both in their personal and professional life, or the ones that just aren't quite getting where they want to be, you know, as far as business goes. They're not reaching their goals. They're sabotaging themselves, whatever it may be that's keeping them from getting where they want to be. And so I work with a lot of attorneys, doctors, professional athletes, people that are you know, again, sabotaging themselves and subconsciously to be able to, you know, again, perform at their optimum.
Yeah, so the first key is if they're not achieving the success that they desire, that they want, then it's time to start looking around. And it may be they need a process and a system, in which case coming to me would make some sense, unless you're a baseball player and I don't teach baseball. But if it's business, you can come see me and I can do that. Or is it attitude, right? Is it your belief? Is it self-doubt or fear of failure or fear of success or any one of those types of things? If you're not sure, you could kind of take both paths.
Well, and I believe attitude is everything.
I do.
And you hear it a lot. You hear different things and stuff like that. But I've always said, you know, take care of what you can control and let go of what you can't. Because if you can't change the situation, change your attitude about the situations, because that's really the only control that you have. But you've got people that are perfectionists.
Okay? Oh, yeah.
And if you're a perfectionist, you're killing yourself. It's not you're your worst enemy instead of really your greatest advocate, your biggest supporter, which you need to be. Because, you know, you're focusing on doing it perfect when really success is the effort you put into it. It's not the end result. And if you're doing the best you can possibly do with great intentions, great attitude, great effort, you're going to have a lot of good end results.
Great intentions, great attitude, great effort.
Oh, no question.
That you can control.
Yeah, exactly.
You can make something happen with that.
Exactly. So if you're focusing on that finish line, which the perfectionist generally does.
Always focus on the results first.
You're focusing on the results. You're maximizing your opportunity for mistakes. You're maximizing your opportunity for stress. All the things that are really going to work against you. Whereas if you really just focus on your process and just stay in that place of calm, do whatever you can to stay calm and just do the best that you can possibly do under the given circumstances, you're going to have a lot of good end results. But the perfectionists, what they do is they finish something and don't take the time to enjoy what they've done. They're already on to the next thing, worrying about, are they going to get that right?
Or they don't finish something at all
Correct.
because there's always room to make it better. There's always room to get a little bit closer to the target. Sometimes it's not necessary.
Or that fear of failure kicks in.
Or it just literally holds you back and you never get anywhere.
Exactly. No question. So it's really important, again, that you just focus on the process. It's like a marathon. You know, when you run a marathon, okay, you know that finish line is out there, but you don't see the finish line. Okay?
Not for a long time.
Yeah. But if you're focusing on that finish line instead of your process, you may start to run, you may trip over a rock because you didn't see it, hurt an ankle, and not make it to the finish line. You may not be paying attention to where you're going, and you may run off the course. Or if you're not focusing on your breathing, you may run out of breath and not make it to the finish line.
Yeah, that's my challenge right there.
Yeah.
So, you know, every time I get within 100 yards of the finish line, you know, I kind of lose track of the breathing. And it's like, why is that last 100 yards so hard?
Yep.
When the first, I don't know, 1,000 yards weren't that big a deal.
Yep. And if you focus on the process, that finish line is going to come quickly.
It'll show up.
And probably quicker.
Yeah.
You know, than if you do it the other way. So, you know, that's how we work against ourselves. So, and that's when, you know, I can help people subconsciously find the root of whatever it is that's keeping them from really optimizing their life, business-wise and personally.
Well, so we're going to get into that a little bit more in a minute, but I want to talk about your process, right? So somebody that's identifying with what we're saying here right now, and they say, hey, listen, I want to have a conversation. What does that process look like?
Well, I do a complimentary consultation. If they want to do that, I can do it on the phone or in person, or I can include it in the first, 2-hour session that they come to work with me. In the first 15 minutes or so, I'll explain how it works, why it does what it does. And after that first 15 minutes, if they're not comfortable with me, I encourage them to leave.
Yeah, it doesn't work, right?
It doesn't. If they're not comfortable with me, they're not going to do good work. And this is about, my client, my patient, not about me, right? So then we do a history, and then we start the work in the first session. And hypnosis is really the great tool that helps me to do that. Because in cognitive therapy, traditional therapy, which I could do, I put somebody in a box. You're acting this way, so this must have happened. It's theory. Holds true to maybe 5% of cases. Because say I'm working anger management, what makes you angry, what makes him angry, what makes the other person angry, completely different. And it's the same with depression, it's the same, whatever it may be, whatever the emotional issue, it's unique to every one of us. So through hypnosis, I'm able to get to the subconscious root of what's created the negative behavior, bring the learnings on a conscious level into the subconscious. We're actually detaching negative emotions. Fear, anger, sadness, guilt, whatever it may be, depression, limiting decisions. I'm not good enough. I can't. I don't deserve. The decisions that we make much younger in our lives that affect the quality of our lives throughout our entire lives. It's very powerful. So, and the subconscious mind is kind of like, if I were to compare it to a computer, what we're doing through hypnosis is we're able to reprogram your hard drive to get rid of those negative feelings, those limiting decisions. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. And hypnosis is not mind control at all. If it were mind control, I'd have met women a totally different way in my life. Look into my eyes. I'm George Clooney. You want me now? Bad.
Yeah, not the right approach.
No, it doesn't work that way. It's just, you're very much in control. You know everything's going on. Everything's being said. You remember absolutely everything. But it just allows me to get you to a state of total physical, mental, emotional relaxation. Yet auditorily, you're more aware of what's going on around you than you are right now. It's a heightened state of awareness.
Okay.
So through that, and our subconscious mind is our feelings, our emotions, our memories, and our imagination. It's 99.9% of our mind. It dictates our daily behavior. It's where all the I do it's, but I don't know why I do it lie. What we use on a daily basis is our conscious analytical mind. 1/10 of 1% of our mind. We don't use it all in our lifetime. And that's a 20-year Harvard medical study on the mind. So that's a pretty big disparity.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
So again, that's where I come in. I help to get to the subconscious root, to get them feeling better, feeling stronger, feeling confident, believing in themselves. And then we move to you, and you take it to that next level because you get them on your program. You help them to move forward and to really create a wonderful business.
Well, teaching, training, and coaching on how to get better at certain things.
Yeah.
But if attitude is the gap, is the stumbling block, and that's one of the first things that I try to do is understand the gap. And I'll walk through some attitude, and I'll say, look, this is the attitude we're going to have, and this is one we're not going to have. And that if it shows up, if the negative behavior shows up more than once, then I know, this probably isn't ready for me because I can't get them to take on the other things. And so somebody like you might be the right approach in that direction to help them uncover whatever that is.
Yeah, to get rid of the negativity. Because
Yeah.
the way our mind works, it takes 10 positives to wipe out one negative thing said. Let me repeat that again because I stumbled there. It takes 10 positives to wipe out one negative thing said. For example, if I were to walk up to you and say we met for the first time, John, so great to meet you again, see you again. It's really an ugly tie you have on there, but you have great skin, beautiful eyes,
Yeah, I don't
great
like you
smile.
already.
I like the goatee. The hair looks great. And what are you still thinking about, right?
Yeah, I don't like you already.
Yeah, right. And see, what's funny about that is it's a beautiful tie. It looks great with the suit. And it doesn't matter what I think, it matters what you think, but more
Yeah.
importantly, how it makes you feel, right? So now, here's the key, or this is the really interesting thing, is that it would take 5 more wonderful things to wipe out the negative thing I said about the tie before you even heard a compliment. And think about the compliments I gave you. Great
You gave a
skin,
lot,
great
yeah.
smile,
Mhm.
great hair, very personal. And now all we want to do is go burn the tie. Oh, it's
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Well, I just don't like you.
there you go.
All right, so let's go on and talk about a success story. What's somebody that you've worked with that remarkable change?
Brian Meek, attorney, world-class athlete, world-class power lifter, broke 5 world records after the work we did together.
And so before
He was struggling. He was doing well, but he was really struggling
to get to that.
Correct, to get to that elite level. And there was just, again, some negativity in there, some self-doubt, some other things, and we were able to clear that stuff out and then really have him focus on his technique and all the other stuff, and he did amazing stuff.
What's amazing is that the really successful business owner,
Yeah.
they always know there's room for improvement. There's always room for growth, and they're willing to go try other things.
No question.
And that's how they, expand, and that's how they move from being good to great, as
Yeah.
opposed to getting stuck in the good forever. The earlier entrepreneur, which is where a big part of my focus is, because I believe that's where I can make the biggest impact. That concept of scarcity and self-belief and doubt, those are all wrestling in there.
Yeah.
Because I can take it, I can talk marketing strategies and conversations and efficiency, and I can tell you sometimes, think this way instead of thinking that way.
Right.
And if you're able to follow my directions, then we'll make progress and we'll get that. But if something else is blocking that, I can't do that. That's not my thing. I'm not the psychologist. I'm not the hypnotherapist. I can't.
Yeah, and again, it's kind of like, when you grow something, if you plant a garden, you want to plant the seed, and the seed would be self-belief, confidence, the ability to set healthy boundaries, all the things that are really, really important in your personal life as well as your business life.
It's both. It's both.
No
and
question.
I know that if you, and I teach a lot of things that fit both, when we talk about the, how to get unstuck. The
Yeah.
process for getting unstuck, whether it's a personal life stuck or a business stuck, is somewhat similar. You're just, the inputs are different.
Correct.
I can figure that. I can go both directions in that way. And we just take a look at everything that's going on in life today and all the interesting things that are going on,
Right.
and how that can affect the way somebody thinks and how they feel about themselves. And ultimately, that you are the one thing you have 100% control of is yourself. You are the machine, right? And I can help that machine. I can go through and I can do a lot of things about strengths and weaknesses and analysis and direction and how to make that machine get the biggest return possible.
Right, but if you were a painter, would you want to have paint over somebody else's painting, or would you want an empty canvas?
Oh, I'd much rather have an empty canvas.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of times that when people come to me, they're a painting that is not what they want, and they view it as ugly. They view it as not appealing to look at. It doesn't feel good when they look at it. That sort of thing. That's what they are. So what I help them do is to clean off that canvas.
Yeah. Well, and that's great. That's actually
Yeah.
a really nice.
And then it
analogy.
gives it to you,
And then I have
and
the
then
ability
you get
put
to
the
help
right
them
stuff-
paint
put
the right
stuff in
picture.
it.
Yeah.
So talk about surprise benefits. This is one of the things I think is really amazing. I mean, somebody's going to come to you and they're going to say, "I need your help and I want X, Y, Z." But what do they say afterwards? What are they surprised at?
The greatest thing, the biggest surprise that most of them come to me and will say is the awareness they get. the awareness of how they could have improved the quality of their life had they done things differently, the awareness of is they truly are the master of their destiny if they set healthy boundaries and they make good choices, the awareness that they don't have to listen to the external garbage that comes from other people, certain situations, that they have the free will, freedom of choice, which I think is the greatest thing that we have, to choose to surround themselves with good, wonderful, healthy people, to choose to put themselves in positive situations, and to choose to really speak their truth, to live their truth.
Well, and you get to design your own story.
Yep, absolutely.
And, design it with the people around you. I mean, because that alone is an amazing thing. I mean,
Oh.
If you're around the positive, the energy, the composure, that type of position, then you have lots of opportunity. And if you're around a lot of negativity, it's the opposite. And the other thing that's really scary, and you know this, is that I think negativity is catching.
Oh, no question.
I mean, because we get negative Nancy in an office workforce, and often, the identification that that's the issue and making a change. Now we'll try to convert Nancy to something else, but it might not be possible. In which
Right.
case, Nancy might need to go see you, because that might help. And sometimes, we just have to say, listen, another opportunity for Nancy would be better.
No
And
question.
and it's amazing the difference that happens in that office almost overnight. The layers of tension and stress just roll off because everybody's been fighting that negativity for so long.
No question. No question. And everything is energy. This is energy. It's condensed energy, but it's energy. And you've seen it when negative Nancy walks in and her shoulders are slumped and she's all, how are you, Nancy? Oh, thanks for asking about me. I always compare two characters. Remember Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh?
Oh, sure.
Okay, and then Doug from Up, the dog, the golden
Yeah.
retriever.
Doug is one of my favorite
Doug's one of my
characters.
favorite characters because Doug was the same as Eeyore, but will you be my friend? And then Eeyore, thanks for thinking of me. I mean, it's just a difference, and it's a choice. Attitude really becomes a choice because you can focus on depression comes from living the past, panic, anxiety, worry come from living in the future. If you focus on the process, on the now, and again, ask yourself, what can I do right now to
present.
facilitate getting where I want to be right now? And then be proactive in taking action to do it. You're going to have a lot of good end results, but you do it with great attitude, again, great effort, great intentions. And then,
effort, intention. I mean, that's what translates into action.
Yeah. And then calm. Always stay calm and set those healthy boundaries. Because the only one who can set those
hard to
boundaries
stay calm.
You know what? Again, that's a choice too. But breathe. You think about it. If you
Breathe. That's a great. That is the answer.
If you breathe and you just delay, keep eye contact very calmly and breathe and delay and then ask questions. What did you mean by that? A lot of times someone will go, well, what do you mean by what? Well, you said this. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. I just want to know what you meant by that. Because if you stay calm and you ask those questions, you're going to keep your power.
Well, and the answer, which is the cool thing that you just delivered, was delay and breathe.
Yep.
Delay and breathe. So that's the answer. That's the go-to. Now, and I know this, but I have to remember it every now and then, right? Somebody has to kind of point it out. This sharpen the saw thing is really important.
Yeah.
Because I run into people like that, and they say, well, I don't want to go talk to that person. I don't want to, because this conversation might be very important, very crucial, very critical. And it could be an important client, or it could be just an employee. I have, family businesses that I work with, and the dynamics of a family is a little more challenging on a business sometimes than just two disparate partners.
Yeah.
And even disparate partners can have their challenges.
No question.
And so nobody wants to hurt the other person's feelings, and yet you need to have this conversation, and then all this stress level shows up, and it's like, okay, delay, back up, okay, now just breathe for a little bit. That's a good answer.
Well, you know what? It's funny because I'm going to say this, and people always laugh when I say this, but everybody lies. I don't care. You could be the most honest, wonderful, fabulous person in the world, but everybody lies at one time or another. Not just to lie, but because maybe they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Maybe they're worried of repercussions. Maybe there's all kinds of different things. And I always talk about relationships, and I do couples counseling as well and stuff. And so, but I always talk about in relationships, well, you got to be honest. You got to be honest. Well, okay. The key is you have to develop an environment. You have to nurture an environment that is safe for open and honest communication. And that's a challenge.
That's a challenge. It is.
That's really a
Yeah,
challenge because of all the garbage from the past. We all tend to suffer for the ills of those that came prior to us, you know, and
it's
so
not a tendency. It's almost a requirement. You're going to have to deal with this,
yeah,
whatever that is.
yeah,
Whatever
because
the baggage
it's a
is,
it's
you bring it in with you.
but that's that subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And so as you talk about attitude, you know, my thing is always ask the question: if something comes up and you go, you know, it doesn't feel right, something doesn't feel right, ask yourself, can I control it? Because if you can't, you got to let it go. We can't control what other people say, what they do, what they think, what they feel. We can't control certain situations around us. The only thing we really have control over is our attitude. Again, if you can't change exactly, if you can't change a situation, change your attitude about the situation. However, you've got a lot of people that are trying to control everything.
Well, yeah.
As opposed to themselves.
Yeah.
Okay? If you try to control the things in life you can't control, such as what other people say, do, think, or feel, such as certain situations around you, then you're taking the focus off of your own process. Now you're not taking care of what you can control. So you put yourself out of control. You do the exact opposite of what you want to accomplish. So now that brings in anxiety. It brings in stress. It brings in depression, whatever it may be. Again, it's focusing on you. You need to become your greatest advocate, your biggest supporter, because you are your greatest asset. You need to become your best friend. It's the most important relationship you'll ever develop. Because if you don't believe in yourself, love yourself, how can you get other people to do the same? Right? Because how you treat yourself is what you model to other people. So it's important for you to treat yourself with love, reverence, and respect. And if you do, generally others will do the same. And the ones who don't, you don't want them in your life anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where you set the healthy boundaries.
Right. You have to decide whether that's important or not. So let's take this another step, and you share your 3 best tips. And again, thinking about people that are business owners, executives, and sales professionals. That's the people that are watching the show. What are your 3 best tips for our audience?
First thing I would tell them is back to do whatever you can to become your best friend, to reconcile things from the past, to really figure out what it is that's keeping you from being where you want to be, and get help to do that.
Be your best friend.
Exactly. Okay. Number one would be the first thing. The second thing is find your passion in your work, whatever that is. Okay. Quick story with my son. He came to me.
Well, before you go into that story, I want the third thing.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, but find the passion.
Find the passion
in your work, so that because again, that passion is what's going to drive you to get there every day, to work hard to build it. Okay, and that is key. Yeah. I mean, that is
hard
key.
To do, but it's a big effort, but it's a key effort.
And then the third thing is build strong, healthy relationships. And the way you have to do that is the 2 most important things you'll develop in any relationship, be it business, be it personal, are trust and respect. Okay. And you have to build that trust first, because if you don't build that trust, you'll certainly never get that respect. And those are the 2 most important things, so that your patient, client, whatever it is that you're working with, know that they can trust that you're going to give them good information, that you're going to have their back, that you're doing the best to help them get where they need to be, and respect that your word is your word, that you follow through.
Yeah, well, that's always be impeccable with your word.
Exactly.
It's one of the 4 agreements.
Yep. Say what you mean what you say.
Yeah.
That's simple.
And then Stephen Covey, he wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, Highly Effective People. But he also wrote a book called The Speed of Trust. And that book is all about how important trust is, because that's really the key. So if I were to recap, it would be, find a way to be your best friend.
Yes.
Love yourself. Find a way to find your passion, whatever that happens to be. And then work on relationships, which is really all about trust and respect. And then you had a story about passion, so please share that.
Well, my son came to me, and my son now is a director of marketing for NBC Universal Television. He's done very well. Very proud of him. And but he came to me when he was 19 years old, and he goes, Dad, what is success? I said, Joshua.
That's a great question.
I go, what is success? He goes, wait, no. I asked you. I said, wait, I can't dictate your success. I can't tell you what your success is going to be. Only you can. I said, let's start it at the back. Okay. First question I'd ask myself is, what is the lifestyle that I need to lead to find contentment? Not happy, not sad. They're fleeting. It's finding contentment. And contentment's getting up every day going, you know what, I feel good. I'm liking what I do.
I enjoy this.
I have a good life. Overall, I have a good life. That's the first thing. Second question is, what is the financial wherewithal I need to afford that lifestyle of contentment? Because I can't choose your lifestyle, only you can. Okay? So what is the, now, if you can do what you love, and you and I are very fortunate because I love what I do and I know you love what you
Oh,
do,
yeah, totally enjoy it. This is so different than corporate. I mean, I
yeah,
spent 27 years in the corporate
yeah.
world.
So, I mean, and you know, I don't ever get up and go, oh God, I got to go to work. That's not going to be good. No, I love what I do. And so if you can do what you love to do and make a living at it, it enables you to afford that lifestyle of contentment. That's fabulous. But a lot of people can't. A lot of people don't. So that's why I say you have to find that aspect of your job that you're passionate about. You need to latch into that because that's what's going to drive you to get up every day to go to work, to give your best, to make your best effort, to have that good attitude.
So do you think some people can't? I mean, I do agree with you that some people don't, but do you think some people can't?
I think there's some people that are not capable of it because they've got so much stuff subconsciously
Well,
that
they got
is,
other blocking.
yeah, that's blocking them. That's just,
Okay.
that's keeping them from it. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And so clearing away that
Yeah.
is the step to get
Yeah.
to this. But I think if you cleared it away, you should be able to.
For the most part,
Yeah.
but as we talked before, some people love to be the victim. We talk victim victor, right?
Yeah. You're right. Right. Some people prefer it. You know, they've learned that for whatever reason that type of behavior gets them what they want, and it only works so far.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like with your kids. You know, they whine and cry, and eventually you give them ice cream.
Yep.
And they realize that whining and crying, hey, that works for getting ice cream.
Pavlov's law of
Yes,
classic
so they do it
conditioning.
some more.
You know,
As a parent, we learn, and you know, we realize, okay, now we can't give them ice cream when that happens because
Right.
that's just going to get that. We can't solve all their problems because that means they're just going to keep bringing all their problems to me.
but our job as a parent is one thing, and that's to teach them to be accountable, responsible, respectful, flexible, and resilient in a world that's not fair. Not everybody wins, not everybody gets a trophy in a world that's constantly changing. Enabling disables, entitlement cripples. It's just a fact of life. And you know, and our job is not to be our parents' friend. It's to be their parent.
It's to be their parent.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
And it's hard, you know, especially when you haven't been a parent before and there's no manual, and
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. And I know you spent a lot of time in that arena. Before we go down that path or maybe take that pace,
Let me finish the story real quick.
finish the story.
I'll
Yes.
finish the story real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said, so what is the financial wherewithal you need to afford that? You know, and again, you need to find some aspect of your job that you really enjoy. Because I really look at life in three ways. You've got your business, your personal, okay, and then the third is you sleep. All right, business, work, third of your life. You need to find a passion there. You need to really, you know, find something that's going to drive you and motivate you, because then you're going to end up, you know, finding that success financially that you're looking for further down the line. Because I think it's a cause and effect. You take care of business, you do it right, build your reputation, do everything you need to do to be successful. The rest falls into place. The money falls into place. That
Yeah,
sort of thing.
that's where you're putting the right effort in,
Yep.
and you let the results happen.
Exactly. So you work a third of your life. So you need to find that passion there. Your personal life, be it single, be it married, whatever. Live that to the fullest. Enjoy it. Become your best friend. Have fun. Go explore. Don't ever let fun leave your life. Childlike, not childish. There's a big difference.
Okay.
And then we sleep the other third of our life. If we're not happy with the first two, we don't do the third very well. And sleep deprivation, it won't kill you, but allows disease to enter the body. So you don't want to have sleep deprivation. So moral to the story, buy a good mattress.
That's okay.
So
Good story.
yeah,
Good story. Thank you. And you know, I think passion is really a big deal, and we have to find what that is. It's not easy, and as a young adult, you know, moving from the point where somebody's telling you what to do and how to behave
yeah.
to starting to make your own decisions and figuring out what that passion is, because it is an individual choice. You're not doing what somebody else told you to do. You're doing, you know, that's a transformation that you have to make.
Yeah, and that's about boundary setting. I talked about a little bit about this morning, but it's, you know, again, when we have it, we possess it. It's within us: self-belief, self-love, self-respect. It's when we want something we run into the problem, because we start looking outside, and we allow the judgments, criticisms, expectations of others to really cloud our goals, our, you know, our future, our motivation.
Get in the way.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting.
So, as a business owner, you've been doing this for how long?
28 years.
28 years. What are the top 3 lessons you've learned about running a business?
Again, I go by almost to the same thing we talked about before. Number one is, you know, you got to show up. Number one, you got to show up. Just be there.
Every day.
Every day. You got to show up. I don't care how you feel in the morning, whatever. Just got to get up. You feel lousy, you feel whatever, you get up, you show up.
Yeah, when you work hard.
Yeah. Was it, I forget who made the comment, but 90% of success is just showing up. And there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
It's just,
How many people don't?
being there.
It's
Oh, I
amazing.
know.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing. And because of emotional or self-doubt or whatever, and and again, so I think that's key.
Yeah.
You got to be there. Again, I go back to, and I'm going to bring it up, it goes to the business as well as what we talked about before. But again, be your word. If you say you're gonna meet somebody, if you say you're gonna be somewhere, be there. Okay. If you say you're gonna call somebody, pick up the phone. And follow up. If you say you're gonna take care of something or you're gonna find the answer or whatever, follow up. Just be your word. That is huge. So that would be the second thing, and I would almost put that more important. Well, no,
I'm not certain that these are priority order.
yeah,
They're
either or. Okay, either or. And then the third thing is, and it goes back to is about just focusing on your process. Have a plan. See somebody like John. Know where you're going. Because if you get too scattered, you're really wasting time. And I believe that time and energy is like money. I really do.
Totally.
You either waste it, you spend it, you donate it, or you invest it. And you always want to invest your time. Now, when you first start something, you're going to be spending time until you realize, yeah, this is great. I want to keep going in that direction, or now this isn't working. But the longer you stay, when you feel it's not working, now you're wasting time. You never want to waste time.
Well, and spending time is an investment as well.
Yes, it is.
Right. So you need to learn how to do stuff. You need to gain some skills.
Right. So I think that those are important things. So you need to invest the time to get help that you need if you can't do it on your own. And we all need help at one time or another. I don't care who it is. Everybody says, "Oh no, I can do it on my own." Nobody does it by themselves. Yeah. So again, surround yourself with good, wonderful, healthy people. Surround yourself with resources that have the answers if you don't have the answer, and be honest with yourself to know, when you don't know the answer. That's okay. We're not going to know it all. Again, I go learn to master 2 or 3 things and have the wisdom to know what you don't know. But I think that is really important, very important. And know that in life, and I believe in life and in business, that we're going to run into walls.
Adversity. That's why I use the word adversity.
Yeah.
But yeah, it shows up.
But
We don't get to decide when it shows up.
It shows up, a wall. And you want to do the best you can to go under the wall, go around the wall, go over the wall. However, you have to have the wisdom to know when to walk away. And sometimes a lot of times walking away is not failure. Okay? It's finally realizing your own true value.
Well, and it's making a choice that it's a different direction is more effective.
Correct.
From your goals. The other thing I wanted to point out, and I think this is a component, all of those are excellent ideas, and every now and then you make a mistake.
Sure.
For whatever reason, you aren't able to keep a commitment. Stephen Covey, in his book, The Speed of Trust, he said the definition of trust is simply the ability to make a commitment and keep a commitment.
Yes.
And but sometimes something messes up, right? And so, a couple things we have to do. Number one, we have to kind of forgive ourselves and say, okay, I wanted that to happen, but for whatever reason, I screwed up. And then be honest and reach out and say, hey, listen, I didn't do this right, or I double booked my calendar, because that's, when you're a solopreneur, that's really easy to do.
Yes, I've been there. Believe me.
So you work really hard to not, but it still happens. And so you have to forgive yourself, and you have to be honest, and you have to reach out and take ownership for that.
Ownership. That's the key, is really taking ownership. Again, say what you mean what you say. Stuff happens. That goes to learning to be flexible.
Life happens.
Yeah. Learning to be flexible, learn to be patient, learn to be resilient in a world that's not fair. And again, that's constantly changing. If you can learn to adapt to that change, you're going to make your life easier. Not easy, but you're going to make it easier.
Yeah.
And to know that, again, that we're not perfect. We're going to make those mistakes along the way. However, as you and I discussed earlier, we only learn from our mistakes, from adversity, from our bad choices, if we choose to. When we make our mistakes, that's really an opportunity to learn. It's really an opportunity to grow. If we have the attitude that we want to take those learnings, apply those in the future so they become wisdom, and then we can grow.
Yeah, they're not losses, they're lessons.
No, exactly. Oh, there's no question. There's no question. So,
listen, Doc, I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
John, thank you so much for
fun.
inviting me. This has been really a lot of fun.
I'm glad you've enjoyed it. I'm glad having you on the show. And and just sharing the conversation. And I hope you'll do it again.
Oh, anytime you call me, I'll be here.
All right,
All
great.
right.
Well,
Thank
join
you.
us again for another episode of Better Business Results.